Hey disc golfers, welcome back to Caddy Chat episode 13. We're excited to have you back. I'm your host, Jacob Arvidsson, joined as always by Josh Wood.
That's me.
What do we got coming on the show for him today?
Today we're going to do a little preview of the Maricopa Open down in Maricopa, Arizona. And we got a disc giveaway that we're going to do today. And then we're going to discuss the topic of glide. Disc golf glide. That second number on your disc. Does it mean anything?
Well, we won't.
Does it matter?
We won't tell them for a couple of minutes, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
We got a heated discussion coming and some conspiracy theories. But first, a giveaway for the West Coast Cup.
Yeah.
What are we looking at here for the disc?
Yeah, first of all, this is that beautiful 3-shield stamp for the 3 courses we're playing for the West Coast Cup. And this is an ESP Scorch. Very domey.
Very domey, beautiful pink swirls.
Yeah, it's a sexy beast. Looks like a great disc. But, in the next week, the first 20 people that sign up for the West Coast Cup will enter your names into a drawing and pick one at random, and they will receive this lovely disc.
We will send it to you. Shipping on us.
Yeah, so go over to Disc Golf Scene and register. Registration is wide open. We got 2 more months till the tournament, but sign up early. Sign up this week.
Yeah, get your name in the hat, and you might just win this Scorch.
Yes.
And it feels fantastic. I kind of want to throw it, but we won't throw it.
I love those ESP Scorches.
We'll send it to you brand new.
Yeah. Unthrown.
All right.
Yeah.
Maricopa Open coming up this weekend in Maricopa, Arizona, just south of Phoenix.
Yes.
Weather's supposed to be low 70s. Looks gorgeous. I'm a little jealous. But we get to make some picks here because I get to come back and jump back in first place since you're winning right now.
We'll see. But I just want to point out it's the battle of the A's. If you sort it by ratings, you got Anthony Barella, Adam Hammes, Andrew Marweed, Aaron Gossage, Albert Tam.
And those are really
that's the top of the field. Yeah.
That's really what's there. One of them's going to win.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Probably. Although my man Noah.
Your guy Noah.
Is there as well.
He's the reason you're in front in the pick standings right now.
Yep. Can you do it 2 weeks in a row? Well, not in a row. Can you do it 2 weeks out of a month?
Probably.
Yeah, I know he can.
Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I will go first this time.
Who you got?
I am going to pick.
And why?
Yeah. I'm going to pick Adam Hammes to win.
Okay.
Because he is the returning champ.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to pick Andrew Marweed for second place because he also has the forearm that is really good on this course. I think he's already on fire. He's in his rhythm, and I think he's going to do well. And he's a player I'm watching this year. He's a player to watch from Michigan.
He is number 3 on the list.
So I'm picking him for the top 3, and then I'm going to go with Noah. I'm going to put my money on Noah again to get in the top 3. Okay. He's going to be third place.
I like it. You're sticking to your guns.
I'm sticking to my guns.
That's good stuff. Okay. I'm going to pick Andrew Marweed to go 2 for 2.
Okay. I like it.
His putting is too good. And all these holes are reachable. They're all at the long distance holes are all within, 400, 420. Okay. So he can get to the circle on every single one. Like you already said, there's plenty of forehand friendly shots out there for him. So that plays to his advantage at baseline. And I'm just thinking if he can get within 40 feet, the dude is automatic.
And I can't remember which of the 2 courses this is, but the greens are pretty wide open here too as well, right? I mean, there's not going to be a lot of obstacle within the circle or circle
the circle is pretty much open with the exception of maybe 2 holes. I'm thinking there's on the backside there's an island hole that they usually have, a temp hole. With a tree and the fence inside the circle. But other than that, the real obstacle out there is OB inside the circle on several holes. Okay. Or right on the edge of the circle. That's the main obstacle out there. And controlling, just like they did at Vista during the Shelley Sharp 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, controlling your disc on the high speed, dead hard pan grass is
touchy.
That's the challenge. And then having OB so close to the baskets, combined with the fast ground play, is the risk reward type of thing. But to me,
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
So Andrew Marweed for first place.
Yeah, Andrew Marweed for first place. This one's tough. So
you really want to say Hammes, don't you?
I do want to say Hammes. You've got him in first. I gotta say Hammes.
You got it, yeah. That's fine.
I have to. He kind of had a down event at Shelly Sharp a week and a half ago, but still cracked out top 5. I don't see him doing that twice in a row. He's too good of a player.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's won here before. So he's gonna take second, and Albert Tam.
Albert Tam.
I
could see that.
Is going to take third.
I was actually a little bit torn. Gossage is great and got a great forehand as well. I kind of wanted to pick him for one of the top 3, and Tam as well. But Tam, I thought, I don't know how long he's been over here. Is he just getting to the States for the season? Maybe a little jet lag. I'm going to give him a few weeks to warm up. But you picked him. It's on.
Yeah.
We already got it.
I'm locked in. No, but again, Anthony Barella is getting snubbed.
Yeah, you're right. And
the local Anthony Barella is getting snubbed by us.
Yeah.
We were right the first time.
I've got him in my bold predictions. He's gonna win some events. I'm just giving him a few months to get warmed up.
Okay. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You too. Yeah. No cheating.
No cheating. Yeah, I'm gonna head down there real quick and pay off somebody some people. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Adam, when you're up by 1 on Andy with 1 hole left, we're gonna have to pay you to take a bogey.
I think it's worth pointing out too that in the past, the Maricopa Open has been held at 2 different courses, right?
Yep.
It's been held at Copper Sky and the Meadows, which was a private club. And apparently this year, they were told they're not allowed to do it at the Meadows. And so all 3 rounds are going to be at Copper Sky. Is that what it's called? Copper Sky?
Yeah, Copper Sky, yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want a little bit of interesting reading, you can go to the Disc Golf Scene page and see what the tournament director said about not being able to play at Meadows.
He was not impressed.
He was not shy about it either.
No.
He had some words. But, so all 3 rounds at Copper Sky.
So if you shoot well the first round, you're probably in position to win.
Yeah.
Because you know
got a good chance.
Doing. Yep. All right.
For sure.
So that's the Maricopa Open. I hope coverage will be out. I have not heard who or what is covering it, but I hope coverage will be out.
Yeah. I do
it's
too.
always a fun watch, and we've got some good players there.
Yeah. If all else fails, I'm sure Terry will be there.
He usually is.
Yeah.
All right. Audience suggested feedback. Again, we had several choices, but this week we went with what is glide?
Yeah.
So Josh, what is glide?
It's a myth that dates back to the 1980s. No, glide is number 1, glide is the second number on your disc. So just using the standard destroyer, you've got a 12, 5, neg 1, 3. So the 5 is the glide, 12 is the speed, right? So glide goes from 1 to 7. And the higher the number, the glidier the disc is. Mm-hmm. So the more it's going to coast, the more it's going to glide, the more it's going to ride the wind, so to speak.
So we did some digging because the idea of glide, if you just ask around, there's kind of mixed answers on what is glide. Like what's the definition of glide? You ask some people, they have not a clue on planet Earth what glide is.
Yep.
Other people will have a concrete definition. And then you'll ask another person, and they will also have a concrete definition, which is completely different from the first person you asked. So we did some digging in the online internet realms, and we found several different definitions, similar in a lot of cases, but definitely different.
Yeah.
So let's go down the list. What fun things did we find?
Well, first, here's Innova's. When you go to their website, they give a definition for each one of the 4 numbers. And for glide, they say, glide describes the disc's ability to maintain loft during flight. Discs with more glide are best for new players. And then they go on and on about new players and who should throw glidey discs. But they say it's the ability to maintain loft during flight. So to stay in the air as it's traveling down the fairway. Pretty vanilla.
Pretty vanilla.
Makes sense.
Does leave some questions.
It leaves a few questions.
But it makes some semblance of sense, so we'll take it.
Yeah.
What's another definition you found?
Actually, I found a couple of really good ones that I kind of liked. Here's one from, I found this on Reddit. Just a random Reddit user. You're not random. I didn't mean that personally. JSCMI is his name. I don't want him to go without credit. He says glide corresponds to how much lift the disc generates from airspeed. If you throw two discs with all else being equal, the disc with lower glide will drop faster. The nice thing about high glide is that on a typical throw, the disc will stay in the air longer. The drawback is that it's affected by wind more, which sacrifices accuracy. So, all things being equal, again, that means you're throwing at the same angle, in the same wind, same shot, same angle, same speed, all things being equal. A disc with more glide is going to drop slower and later.
Okay.
And I think that jives with what most of us think glide is.
Yeah. Any other definitions you came across that you feel is worth sharing?
I did, but you can share a few because you've got some over there as well.
Yeah, I found a fun one on here from Sabatus Disc Golf, online disc golf retailer. A lot of retailers have some definition for each of the flight numbers on their site just to help new shoppers. Mm-hmm. Their answer to what is glide on Sabatus Disc Golf says glide is a measure of how long the disc is going to stay aloft. It's when air is trapped under the disc and holds it up. When the disc is running out of energy and fading, does it still kind of stay flat? That's the glide helping out. If a disc has a glide rating of 1, it means it won't be in the air very long. If it has a rating of 6, it means it's going to stay up there for a while. Yeah, so that's Sabatus Disc Golf's definition. I have some thoughts on that. I'm sure you do too.
I have some thoughts.
Do we have any other definitions we want to listen to before we unpack all of these?
Sure. A Blinken77 from Reddit also says glide is simply how easy it is to keep the disc in the air. You don't need to do anything with the release angle. The only time glide is bad is when you're facing a headwind. In that situation, you want the glide number to be as low as possible.
Okay. So let's unpack those 4 that we just read off.
Okay.
I thought the best one, if we're just talking about the flight number of glide, was the one from Reddit.
JSCMI.
Yes. Do we agree on that?
I do.
It kind of encompassed the whole idea of a disc staying in the air and pushing forward. Mm-hmm. And I thought the most important part of that definition was recognizing that the speed of the disc, or the speed that the disc is thrown at, is very, very much a factor in the glide.
Yeah.
If a disc isn't thrown very fast, it's going to glide differently. Mm-hmm. AKA not at all, most of the time. And if it's thrown really fast, it might screw up the flight characteristics enough where it doesn't glide either, because it just goes straight to the ground and rolls. Right?
Yes.
So that was, we both agree, the best definition.
Best of the 4.
Of what is glide.
Yes.
What was the worst of the 4?
I think it was the one that sounded like it might have been written by a first grader. So that was mean. I'm sorry. Sabatus. I think that one was a little confusingly bad.
Yeah, well,
I think
first
it
of
was a bad
all,
definition.
not to break down the writing, but anytime you're defining something in a short and concise way and you include a question within that definition, it's usually a bad sign.
Yeah.
But that point aside,
does what he says true?
Yeah. Is it true? I mean, measuring how long the disc is aloft, sure. I mean, I think you could make a case that that's glide.
Yeah.
We'll take it. The air is trapped under the disc and holds it up. Yeah, I think at baseline,
it tracks.
Yeah, a dumbed down version of the definition is. Yeah. I think that's sufficient. Then it says when the disc is running out of energy and fading, it still stays kind of flat.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think that has more to do with stability.
Yeah, so I'm going
to. It has to do with Turner fade. Yeah, a high fade is just going to dump.
Yeah. Yeah, the angle of the disc should have no semblance on the glide number.
The glide doesn't. Yeah, I don't think so.
If the disc, and then he gives the example, if the disc has a glide rating of 1, it's not going to be in the air long. And if it has a glide of 6, it's going to be in the air long.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we're like talking about your Reddit example, right? And I have a destroyer with a glide of 6 and another destroyer with a glide of 1. But that's not possible because they're Correct. The same disc. So now you have to, if that's his example, you have to compare 2 different discs.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at
too many other factors for one.
What's a disc that's a 6?
Well, I'm not sure, but I'm even thinking in regard to just contrasting the two. Like my Comet is a 5.5.
Yep.
My Pig is a 4.1.
Mm-hmm.
Very different discs. Fly very differently. Glide difference from a 1 to a 5. But I could throw my Pig just as far as my Comet.
Yeah. And
just because it's the lower glide number doesn't mean it's not going as far.
The biggest counterexample is, I mean, we were talking about before the show, what are the handful of discs that are glide 6?
Yeah.
One of them is the Arrow, right? The original Innova mold.
Yeah.
The first disc golf disc, let's say.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Glide of, we can get into that in a different episode. But glide of 6, hands down, it's a disc that pushes forward at low speeds.
Yeah.
But glide of 6. Now you compare that to
a Shrike. 13.6,
also
2.2.
Also a glide of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you the Shrike goes farther.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a good player or not, the Shrike probably goes farther. So that pretty much sums it up right there.
Yeah, I think those 2 examples are all you need to disprove that point.
Go ahead.
No. I mean, that was so 2 of his points were true. That one I don't agree with.
So there's some holes in that definition.
Yeah.
So how would, I guess, are we taking the Reddit example and kind of hanging our head on that? That's how we would define glide as well?
Well, oh man. Yeah, I think it's the closest thing to an accurate definition that I'm probably ever going to find. But I don't think I agree 100% still.
All right, let's get into that.
Okay.
Why do we disagree?
I never found the glide number on a disc to be accurate or consistent with anything.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
The glide number might be inaccurate,
mm-hmm.
but my argument would be, all 4 numbers are all over the place.
That's fair.
So what? Like, why is glide any different? Why can't we just chalk it up to they're just kind of making them up on the spot? This one flies a little bit like this one, so we're gonna have similar numbers on that one. This one you have to throw it hard because it's a driver, so it's a 10 speed versus this one has a more blunted rim. Yeah, it's
right.
A 6.
But so some of these though make sense, right? Because in regard to speed, they're actually measuring the width of the rim.
The aerodynamic ability of the disc.
Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah.
But even the width, right? Like
mm-hmm.
A 14 speed is going to be this
rim.
wide,
Yep.
a much wider rim than a 12 speed or a 8 speed.
Yep.
So there's actually some measurement that's being used to determine the number.
There's some science there, yeah.
Right. In regard to the other 3 numbers, I I wouldn't say that they're made up, but I don't think that anybody has a scientific formula that is repeatable that they could prove. It has to be, right? These people out in the field throwing it and saying, "Oh yeah, that one turned a lot. Let's give it a -3."
And for any new discs, they're really comparing them to discs they've previously thrown.
Yeah, probably.
So it's just numbers based off of other numbers,
Yeah.
not off of an actual scientific
And
formula.
Sometimes with a disc, you'll find those numbers to be accurate to a degree, but never completely. But the question of does glide actually exist? I think it does in a sense, and I think that has a lot to do with the dominess of the disc. Because one thing a couple of the definitions said, I think even Sabatis talked about the air getting underneath the flight plate and keeping it aloft.
Air trapped under the disc holding it up. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that there's some truth to that. Because, I mean, if you take really extreme examples and you take a really domey disc and you just hold them up and drop them at the same time, like the one that's domier is going to act more parachute-like to trap air and have it hit the ground slower or later. Maybe we could try it.
We'll have to
do an experiment sometime.
We'll have to try that one.
But I was thinking like an extreme example, like you get a Jiffy Pop, and drop that compared to a Raptor.
Yep.
I'm sure that Raptor's hitting the ground first.
It's definitely hitting the ground first. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So the dome, I think, does have something to do with keeping it in the air longer. And I do think there was another one of these definitions that talked about how it can be affected by the wind. The glidier the disc, the less accuracy you're getting the wind. And I could see that being true as well.
So I'm going to piggyback off that. I'm going to rip on the idea of glide a little bit more.
Okay.
Piggybacking off your idea of dome, I think that's 100% what the glide number is. I think it's the dominess of the disc. If I'm going to dumb it down, I think that's what it is. And the reason, like you said, it is true if we're perceiving glide to be a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that the wind affecting glide so much and you not wanting to throw a disc that is quote unquote glidey into the wind is because of the dome. So if I'm throwing a domey disc into the wind, it's going to be affected more because there's more surface area for the wind to hit this way, right? If we're looking at the scorch up and down here, the thin way, there's more surface area for the wind to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Versus a Raptor, which is bored flat.
Cutting through like a laser.
It's more aerodynamic.
Is there a disc called the laser? There should be.
You can make one.
It should be super flat.
But the point being that the more aerodynamic disc, if you look at the flight numbers, has a lower glide rating. Why? Because it has less dome. So glide is dominess. To me, at the simplest form, glide is dominus. Now, the reason the number makes no sense is because within a mold, there's so much variation in dome. I mean, I think of more overstable discs are a better example, but like the Zone, I mean, there's very sought after runs of Zone that are complete puddle tops.
Yeah.
You could drink out of them essentially. And then you can have other zones that have a little bit of dome to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one mold with...
And they're not going to fly the same.
No, they're not going to fly the same because they have different dome.
Yeah.
But that's just one example, and that goes across all manufacturers, all sorts of molds. I mean, this Scorch has some dome to it, but I've also seen Scorches that are relatively flat. And yeah, they fly different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my take on it.
I had a friend who suggested, actually just last week we were talking about this, and said the only way to do that accurately is to every time a disc comes off the line, go throw it before you put the flight numbers on it. Every single disc.
So discs within each mold, within each run, would have different numbers.
Yes. That's the only way to be accurate. But who knows?
So that's our take on glide.
That's our take.
At the end of the day, if we're the myth busters, is glide a myth?
No. I think glide is real. I just don't think the glide numbers are accurate.
Glide is a myth. It's spelled D-O-M-E.
Which creates glide.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So maybe glide is not a myth. Maybe they just can't spell.
Yeah.
Maybe disc golfers just can't spell.
Speed, dome, turn, fade.
Yes. So if you guys, if you're a manufacturer watching this, go ahead and
revamp your whole system.
Just fix your site and your production line, and just spell it correctly. D-O-M-E.
Well, it's interesting that you said that earlier, though, about in regard to the dome versus the flat and how drivers don't have as much glide because they're more aerodynamic. But the Shrike can be a little domey.
Uh-huh.
But my Colossuses are not domey at all.
And they're a 5?
Yeah, they're a 5 glide. No dome. At least the ones I throw. Maybe there are some domey ones out there.
Maybe there was the original run of Colossus was domey.
That could be, and they never changed it as they flattened it out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, because maybe they created it, gave it the flight numbers, and then we're like, yeah, we don't actually want this to fly like this. So yeah, as in happens multiple times.
They change the mold, but don't change the numbers.
They tweak the mold, and then, they don't update the numbers.
Maybe.
It's happened plenty of times.
All right.
So those are our thoughts on glide. We want to know your thoughts on glide, because we just called one of the 4 pillars of disc golf descriptors. We called it a myth.
Yeah.
So, I called it a myth.
Recanted. I don't think it's a myth. I just think it has to do with the dome.
We said it's not a good number, though. So
yeah.
At the bottom line, we said it's not a good number. So what are your thoughts? Is it a good number? Is it real? Is it fake?
Is it accurate?
Did they spell it wrong?
Is it consistent?
Yeah, so we want to know your thoughts. We're very curious on this one. All your
thoughts.
Very curious on this one. So drop a comment down below.
Yeah.
And then building off of that, what's another topic you want us to discuss? If you've got a question, we'd love to answer it. If you've got a topic like this for us to discuss, we'd love to talk about it. If you've got a debate topic that you want to throw your opinion on and hear our opinion, throw that in there as well. Or shoot us a message and we'll give you a shout out absolutely if we choose your topic.
Yeah.
We've got a couple to choose from so far, but we want more. So we want to give you guys some good content to listen to. Hopefully you enjoyed our talk on glide. Sign up for the West Coast Cup. Get yourself this beautiful pink ESP Swirl Scorch sent right to your door just in time for you to throw it for the West Coast Cup.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the winning disc.
Ooh, wouldn't that be something? That'd be pretty neat.
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
so please,
me too.
Please make it the winning disc. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, share, subscribe, toss some comments in there. Let us know what you think of our topics and if you've got any ideas. And other than that, we will see you next week with a recap of the Maricopa Open and when I take the lead over Josh.
No, that's not going to happen. But also in the comments, maybe leave your predictions.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win? Maybe you got a wild card prediction that you think might come away. A couple of local boys, maybe. But yeah, we'll see you next week. And until then, keep your head in the game.